I'm tired of these videos. I should I should really start doing these in a more timely manner, but that's why it's a hobby and not my job. The next book is called Forbidden, and pretty sure this was another erotica book, but I wasn't holding out hope at this point. Man, um Rosaline was being married to a pale man named Vladimir. Pretty sure he was a vampire. I'm pretty sure this book was about vampires, and he like killed her whole family at their wedding, and she escapes from him and somehow ends up at a prep school. I'm not entirely sure how old Rosalind was, but whatever. Um, she met a guy named Gabriel who likes her, and I got bored by the time I was done reading this. Do I need to redo this braid? I might need to actually redo this braid. It's looking a little bit fat towards the end, towards the top there. I try not to let my braids look like that, but you know, it happens sometimes. I'm not a professional braider. It doesn't look bad, so. um, yeah. Like, when she escapes, I believe it's supposed to be tense because it's like, oh, when's Vladimir gonna come get her? But for the chapter that I read, she expressed exactly zero paranoia, and it's hard to care about the tension when the character themselves is not expressing the fact that there should be tension. I didn't use rubber bands this time because I wanted to see how it would go, and it stayed. I did these yesterday. Yesterday, y'all don't know what yesterday is. I did this the day before I started filming this video. Um, yeah. I didn't like that book. I didn't like a lot of the books that I found on my Kindle this time around. Um, so the book that's going to actually be the focus of this video, I know I said when I read the last Sia Rose book that I was done with it. But I also have this overwhelming desire to know if Sia dies because I've never read a book where there was a protagonist who was more deserving of it because of everything she has done. Books and video games and stuff that have characters that like maybe you play as them and they're like not good people. I like those stories because it adds nuance to the human experience, and yeah, like you root for Sia, but only because of her relation to Boy. Like if Boy dies, then what do I have to root for Sia for? But Boy's not dead yet, so um yeah. So the next one is called After the Living Have Lost. That's book three. I believe there are only four books, so the next one that I read will be the last one. Um, just a refresher on the facts. Let me turn this way so that I'm more centered and also facing the light. Sia is a mixed girl living in a post apocalyptic planet with monsters, and she keeps Boy with her. He's autistic and mostly nonverbal. Sia destroyed a sanctuary because she didn't felt like they didn't deserve to be safe because they're rich or important, and she wasn't deemed important enough to be saved. So she destroyed the sanctuary. There was a guy that was with them, one of the guards, but when he found out that Sia is the one who released the monsters, he kind of went crazy and tried to kill them, and then Sia killed him. She hasn't told Boy yet, though, that she's the reason he's dead. He thinks that a monster did it. Um, Sia says that she doesn't hate herself, even though she wants to hate herself because of what she did, but she says she doesn't hate herself. Also, remember that these books function in then and now. Um, so that's how I divided up the video. Uh, yeah, and then there's a dude named Riker, and he's traveling. He's following Sia and Boy, and Sia knows that he's there. She's been having some breakdowns. Um, she is getting philosophical on us. She's very because she. No one wants to be a murderer, in my opinion. Like something has to usually happen or it didn't happen that causes people to do stuff like that. She's not well. Then again, being abandoned by your father can do that to you. um, yeah. So Riker eventually catches up to them, and she and Sia and Boy end up going with him to their sanctuary because these books kind of function like The Walking Dead. Every time they find somewhere safe, something ruins it, and they have to move on to the next place. Although, unlike The Walking Dead, they do not spend an entire season at a useless farm. I've never watched The Walking Dead. I'm just aware that that's the season that people don't like the most. Um, yeah. Sia doesn't trust the town because she also doesn't understand how they've survived for so long. And there's people talking in the background, like the leader of the community, talking about like keeping Sia but getting rid of Boy because they find him to be useless. And a lot of this book is just Sia letting herself get too comfortable with these people, and it's kind of the same thing that happened in the sanctuary, sort of. It was less that they felt like they deserved to be safe, and more Sia didn't approve of what they were doing, which in fairness they were feeding the people that they deemed useless to the monsters. So yeah, in this case, like kind of like with in book one, the characters who were like doing the weird breeding thing, they kind of deserve what's coming to them. Because how sustainable is that, honestly? Um, yeah. So that ends up happening, and after after the community is destroyed, uh, Sia, there's a lot that happens in this book. I just don't want to describe it to you because this is one of those books that I want people to go out and read themselves. I'm gonna rebraid this. This is getting on my nerves. I'm sorry. Um, Yeah, I like this book. I was concerned it would be like The Walking Dead, but it isn't. The only question I have now is how is the planet dying? It's never like I suppose that's what Sia's dad was trying to find out when she got him killed, but it's never explained like what is cause like where the monsters came from or what caused. Some people said that they thought they climbed out of a volcano, which I guess is fair, but the planet seems to also be dying, which the monsters don't seem to be doing that. The monsters only seem to be interested in like eating and stuff. So, not really sure how that's happening. Also, I just would like to point out that in the context of the book, Sia isn't awful because when it's post apocalyptic, she's doing what she has to survive. And I understand that. She's terrible to me because I'm gonna be real with y'all. If the apocalypse comes, day one, I'm out. Like, bye. Because I know that like, yes, I can sew, but I also get migraines and I have asthma and bye. Um, y'all let me know how that goes. Uh, yeah. Um, like the people who call Boy useless are kind of being unfair to him because for Sia he serves an emotional purpose. When all of this first started and she was abandoned by her father, Boy has been her constant companion for years now. So he serves an emotional purpose, and like people who serve a purely emotional purpose for the ones who are like doing the surviving part, those people aren't bad. That's also why we don't immediately kill old people once they hit the age of retirement because they still serve an emotional purpose to society. Like we need those people. Um, I also decided that Sia is a case study in complex post traumatic stress disorder um, because like she got problems between those panic attacks and like staying calm in times of high stress even though it's high stress and she should justifiably be freaking out. Like she's a perfect case study in complex post-traumatic stress disorder. But yeah, I like that book. I like the whole series. I think the last one is the last book, and I apologize. I shouldn't be doing my hair on camera right now, but the braid was getting on my nerves because it looked funny. The moment I mentioned it is when I knew I was gonna rebraid it. Anyway, the next book, because we still have a minute left, and this is a short one. It was called C26, and it was supposed to be a love story because I'm trying with the romance because romance doesn't have as bad a track record as the other one does. Um, Spouses Abby and Isadora are going to die together, and they're in cabin C26 on a ship, and something is coming to kill them. I don't know what it is, and I didn't find out what it was. The characters, I guess, are being reincarnated, and the guy is aware of it, but I don't think the girl is. Um, yeah. Skylar was supposed to be the main character, and she's a journalist who hates traveling. And there's a dude named Vincent who's her editor. She also writes fiction, and she met a dude at the airport who's pretty, but she doesn't like him. They start talking about books, and I didn't care. His name was Dash, and he felt kind of arrogant, and he plays in a band or whatever, and I don't know. I got bored. Um, yeah. I'm just gonna leave with these notes today because I don't remember reading this book, and the books that I don't like are especially hard to do in retrospect because I didn't like them, so I hardly remember them unless I like really didn't like them. All the girls in every area can have not like other girls. It varies area to area, but I know so many people like that, and I am one. That trope hardly bugs me anymore. In the sense of like, we all have things about us that are not like other girls. I have met no girl who is 100% a girly girl. And like, I'm sure they exist, but even then, I'm sure there's still something that they do. Because like, you can be a girly girl and love like girly games, but you like have a gaming setup and all of that. And that's technically falls within the trope of not like other girls. That's better. It's not where I would want it to be, but it's not as big as it was before. Um, yeah, like I appreciate the different female character archetypes, but that one doesn't really, that one no longer bugs me. Um, and then I put for the guys, why are all the guys broody and arrogant? Like in these romance stories now, like they flirt with her even when it's unwanted, and it's like clearly they don't want to be flirted with. Like I know those guys exist, but why do they all have to be in every single romance book? Like with Royal Savage, Royal was dark and broody, but he was soft at heart from jump, and like he clearly liked her from the start, and like I don't know. The prologue of this book was cute, but the rest of it felt like eh. And like, also with Royal Savage, Royal is a Doberman boyfriend. Like, easily provoked, but once the bad vibe is caught, loyal and highly receptive to character criticism. In this book, I just didn't catch the vibe. So, yeah.